Howdy! Welcome! Happy Tuesday afternoon and spinning time. How's everybody today? It's summertime here. I got my summer clothes out. I'm so happy. I won't be in 2 months. I'll be over it, right? And ready for fall. But that's just the nature of living in a regularly season changing location. And I've lived in areas that didn't change the seasons. I know what it's like, and I prefer this, even though it always doesn't seem exactly right, exactly the way I think it should be, right? But it's not bad. It's not bad. How is everybody? This is a good week. We've had a good week started so far, and I am just zipping through some of the fiber work, getting a chance to do it every day, doing a lot of knitting in the evenings. I have the one more repeat to do on the front of the top that I'm making, and believe me, it's a very, very basic rectangle that goes over another top, right? It's lacy. It's just kind of an accent piece, really, even though it'll slip over your head. It doesn't have any openings or anything like that. I have been knitting on this since February on the front, but not really pushing hard. And the repeat is 18 rows, and I've kind of got the 18 rows down pat now. And I still watch my pattern and keep a counter going so I know where I'm at, but it's moving along really good, and I'm happy about that. I'm getting all excited about starting the stash down in 2 days. I'm not making plans because my whole life, and that includes the Tour de France, the Tour de Fleece thing, and anything else that comes along as far as spin-alongs and that sort of thing, because I am at a point in my life where that is my life. That is my day. Spinning, doing fiber work, or whatever. And that's pretty cool, right? I like being there. I might need to work a little bit on maybe trying to find some income from it, but that's not a push. It can come or not, right? It can be a general goal. I found out today, in a couple weeks, I'm going to actually get to go to a real fiber fair. I'm quite excited about that. They are still requiring masks if you go into the vendors in the building. I'm fine with that. After a year of wearing a mask, there's nothing uncomfortable about it at all. And it's just still part of it. But the outside stuff, you don't need to have a mask on. So, and by then my immunity should have kicked in real good, so I'm real excited. I can't wait to tell you all about that when I actually get to go. The weather is the way I like it, nice and cool in the morning. So I go outside in the mornings, I do things on the porch. I worked on a Caracal lamb's fleece that is just, oh my gosh, it's a brownish, cinnamony kind of cinnamon brown, right? Reddish brown with the other colors, the white and the grays and that sort of thing. And I'm so excited because I have been spinning white fiber for so many months now for the SESE. And the Jacob that I'm going to be doing today is a colored fleece, and the Caracal that I'm going to do after that is a colored fleece. And the next to last one that I have to process is a CVM, a California Variegated Mutant, and it's sort of colored. It's that kind of like off-white with reddish tinges, little browns. I mean, it's very subtle. It's a very subtle one. It's not that like brown or black or anything like that. So I have some colored fleeces going in, and I am processing the Caracal right now. I will have to process the CVM, and then I have a processed fiber left that was from Walhalla, and that'll be it. That will be the last of what I'm going to do for the passport program. So really, the amount of yarn that I have made over 2020 and 2021 has been astounding. And the biggest thing about Friday and the stash down is pulling from my own stash, which is what has been a goal anyway, what I've been doing. Even though I'm going to go shopping during it, I'm not going to include that. And then the second thing is actually keeping track as I go. I last year didn't keep track at all. I had the yardage of each skein that I made written down in my daily journal, but I didn't have a running total going, right? And so I had to sit and work on that one day in early January, and it was pleasant work, but go through the whole daily journal, find every skein, write down the yardage, and total that up to get the total yardage that I did in 2020. And I talked about that in a stream. I don't have that information in front of me, but the third difference is the stash dash is, or is it stash down dash? I'm not sure what it is, but anyway, it's in metric. And so, and they have a really good reason for doing that, because a lot of people are knitters, they're not the spinners. And so they have their ball band on their yarn that gives how many meters are in this ball, right? It's on the ball band. So they are doing everything in metric. I am going to have to do everything in yards and just convert it on Google, because I am mostly going to be spinning. And when I measure yards, I measure yards like that. I shouldn't talk when I have my back to you. I measure yards like this. This is a 2 yard. Where's the camera? That's a 2 yard knitting knotty, right? Each wrap is 2 yards, and I keep count. By the way, this is the second skein of that tunis that I've been spinning the last couple. I'm sorry, this is the first skein of the tunis. This is the second skein. It's plied, but I have to do the same thing and put it on the knitting knot. Then I'll have the total for the tunis. But anyway, I'm going to have to change it into meters, kilometers, and the race, I mean, the goals are in kilometers. Even the minimum is 1,000, and then there's 3,000, 5,000. There are different categories, right? So I'm going to be doing the metric thing. Let me go to my other camera here, and let me move it. I was messing around with it for a little bit and show you these Jacob bats. I bought this Jacob unwashed, straight off the sheep. I picked it open and washed it, and the washing process kind of got it stuck and clumped together again. Plus, I wanted to go through the drum carder, and the drum carder likes to have it all nice and opened, right, to feed in through the teeth and drum card it good. And so I picked it again, and then I did these gorgeous bats, and I have no idea what weight it is. I did not weigh each one, but they're under an ounce, and I have, I think, 11. Let's see, there's 5, 7, 9, 11. I have 11 bats. So I have, I have over 10 ounces of this fiber. Need 4 ounces for the Shave 'em to Save 'em, so I have plenty. And I am just going to spin it on my Aura and submit it after I spin a 2-ply. But they are glorious. I wonder how they'll spin though. That's the only thing, Sometimes looks are deceiving and you're not real happy with how it spins. So we'll find out. I have decided to do the 3 p.m. all week this week. I didn't really have any conflict today, but I do have on Thursday, I have a Thursday morning appointment. So I figured, okay, let's just keep it at 3 o'clock all Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Sunday is normally 3 o'clock anyway. So now I have to undo this beautiful bat. I thought I'd talk a little bit about bats, and this is really pretty good camera work here. This is the top. So when it goes on to the great big drum, of course, it's brushing between two drums, and that brushing is laid in layers around the big drum, and the layers always seem to be the smoothest on the top. You will find it looking more like this on the bottom. Now this cross piece here is because it's just a loose bit that I used a brush to get out of the teeth. The way you get it off of a drum carder is it's going to be in a circle like this, and you're going to run a doffer, which is really just a very sharp stick, underneath there, all that length of that bat, and lift. And when you lift up, it splits the bat open like this, and what you do is you see it on your drum, going around your drum like this. So then you start at this edge that you broke, and you start peeling it off of the teeth of the big drum. And so when you are peeling it off of those, it doesn't all come off clean, right? Some fibers do better than others. It all has to do with your number of teeth that you have in your drum carder, and what your length of your fiber is, and how it likes the number of teeth that you have. And so it's unrealistic to think that you're going to buy a drum carder excuse me, you're not going to buy a drum carder for every different kind of sheep breed that you could possibly card. What you do is try to hit a kind of a happy medium, and or choose for something that you are raising yourself, where you know you're going to have a lot or end up using a lot of it. And okay, so I had Angoras, rabbits, and so I had that Angora fur. So I bought a drum carder that has what it's called a fine tooth cloth on it. It has more teeth per square inch than other drum carder cloth, right? I have a fine one. So therefore, I'm limited a little bit about what likes my drum carder. Shorter fibers do real well, and the softer fibers like Angora or that sort of thing, some of the coarser fibers are going to get stuck in there. They're not happy, won't come out well. They're going to bristle into those vast number of teeth and get stuck. So anyway, it's just kind of you got to make a call. If you want a drum carder, decide what you usually process and go with that. So sorry, I have just a regular music thing on here, and it's piano music, and for some reason they're singing. So let me go to the next one, so I don't have to feel like I'm yelling over them. So back to the back here. So what's going to happen here is you're going to find you've got loose bits, and sometimes I clean it up a little bit like this before I actually strip off anything. And these little knots, these little shortcuts, they tend to like to be on the back. So I'll pull those out, just cleaning it up just a little bit. I don't want to be too picky and lose everything. Some of that can be the characteristic. of. Now, what do I do with this that I picked off? I'll do hand comb bats. I'm just going to gather it all together, and I will make bats with my hand combs. Carders. Sorry, I'm carding. Then you have to just very carefully tear off a width of your bat, like that. And a lot of times I set these out here so that you could see them, and you can't see them now, but I'm going to move and set what I tear off over here on the side so that I don't have to stop and do this all the time. Now, some people will take a diz and they'll start at the corner here and pull through a diz. And in fact, I may do that in the next stream. I'm sure I'm not going to finish all these bats today, and show you how to do that. I didn't bring a diz. I forgot to go get it. I'm trying to keep kind of the same amount width-wise. I don't want, a real extra thick or whatever. That will help with the drafting. I'm trying to keep this width the same, right? So that it's going to end up not having just a little tiny strip left. But down here, there is quite a bit of fiber. So that area right down here is just a little more, the very ends, and that's because it was being laid over in a nice, smooth, connected strip, and you popped it open and you pulled some of the fiber behind here up into there when you pulled it open. Or when I did. You didn't do it, I did it. But I'm talking as if you're going to have the opportunity to do this. All right. I have not tried spinning any of this. I just went ahead and did all of it in the bats. So we'll see how it goes. How it wants to spin. Truth is, I would like as much yardage of this as I can get, which means I want it thin. Now, one of the things about it is really pulling in. Is this? Nope, this is as loose as it can be. All right. One of the things about drum carding is it does allow all of the little short bits in there. Some vegetable matter will fall out, but on the whole, this fleece was very well sheared, and I will have some short bits, but not too much. You also notice I am spinning really slow. It's a pinch and pull. Now I gotta check and see. I need a little more twist, which means less pull-in if I can get it. I know what I need to do. Let's try this. I kind of got the upright, crooked. Let's see if that helps. Nope. Nope, that's pulling in too much. Alright, that was some shortcut stuff. This is as loose as it can go, I think. Yes. I will go ahead and try. That would make it looser. Oh yeah, that makes it way looser. Let's see what happens with that. I forgot I was on the... Okay. That's plenty of loose, so it's not pulling in. However, I will go ahead and my green band is going to give me the twist, so I want it more. I want to go with one down there. Yeah. Get there right. Okay, I might not need that much pulling yet. Oh, clump of hay. Now I'm getting more twist. That's good. By putting that green band down a whirl, I'm getting more twist. And since I'm going thin, I want a fair amount of twist in there. Here we go. Slow your treadling down a little bit, so it isn't grabbing it so much. Now I'm getting nice and thin. All right. Let's see how the twist is. Yep. Good twist. Now if I can just keep myself nice and relaxed so I don't go treadling like I'm racing. Now, ironically, once again, I am mixing metaphors here. I am spinning roving because it's carded, and traditionally you spin roving with a long draw. I am not spinning a long draw. I am spinning a pinch and pull, which is a worsted, not woolen spinning. And so therefore, since I've got the mix of roving and worsted, I've got a semi-worsted yarn. Hi, Jamie. How's your day going today? I am spinning these wonderful Jacob bats that I've just been working on the last week and a half, I guess. Been more than that because I washed the fiber and all that too, but as far as carding it, did it on my big drum carder. Love the color. Right, they are cute sheep. Sheep of many sheep of many colors, right? Can be spotted, and they usually have those curly Q horns. I don't know if I'm trying for really thin. I don't know if I'm going to like it or be unhappy with it or not, but I just cannot so see something in lace with this. I don't know if it'll be enough for a shawl. It might have to be just a really nice wide scarf kind of thing. So I'm working on spinning really thin. One of the things about this Aura wheel is the design, the way it's constructed with the two drive bands, the way they are, and I'm going to take that off right there. It has tremendous pull-in. And some people, I have always spun with a lot of pull-in because my Roberta, my electric spinning wheel, also has a lot of pull-in. So I'm used to it. But when they designed this wheel, the spinner of art yarns called Pucky Fluff helped in the design with Magicraft. And when they designed this wheel, they wanted to design it so that you could make all of these art yarns, a lot of which had big areas, thick areas on their yarns that needed very little twist, but needed to pass through big orifice, needed to not spend a whole lot of time in the drafting zone, needed to get onto the bobbin, right, when you wanted it to go on. So they designed the wheel with a lot of pull-in. And what I have been working on over the years is gradually figuring out that you don't have to spin with that pull-in as much. You can set, this is really, oh, you can't see. The one drive band right here is extremely loose, and this is all the way down. I don't have it cranked up at all. So that one is one way of doing it so that it doesn't pull in. And then this green band back here has to do with the flyer, how many times it goes. Well, if you're spinning thin, you want it to go around more. You want more twist, and so you go on a smaller whirl. And I only have it on the second. I mean, I could go with lots more twist, but I don't need it. I don't think I need it. I've been kind of watching a little bit. I also I could try one more down just to try it. Yeah. Just to see. Because I'm trying to find a way that is comfortable and I'm not like working too much against the wheel. I kind of like that. I think that might be a little better. I also, you really don't need to treadle fast. When you have your green band set like that, you're getting the twist. You don't need to treadle to get the twist. So that's an Aura lesson today. Not very many people have an Aura. I mean, I know there are a lot, but there are a number of them. I don't know of anybody else in my immediate vicinity that has one. Still, I'm not sure. Although it pulls back, I can pull back on it and it doesn't break. So, it doesn't come apart. So that means it's getting twist. That's good. Now, let me get my camera back on my spinning here. There we go. It's gonna take me a while to spin all this, I'll tell you. I only need a skein of 4 ounces for the SESE, but I think I probably have 10 ounces here in the bats, since I have about 12 bats altogether. Having a very relaxing, productive stay-at-home week. Don't have to stay at home. We're not mandated to or anything. It's just we are choosing to. And I am really enjoying having the time at home. Did a lot of cooking yesterday. I have been listening to a book on an Audible book that I got through the library, getting some knitting done. It's been nice. The only thing that's going to mar this from being a really nice lace weight yarn is there are neps in it. And I've been trying to catch them. My trip was, it was really great. That was last Thursday, and we didn't go far. We went, about 45 minutes from our house. But it was on the Ohio River, and we had a room on the 15th floor, so we had a great view. Had a wonderful dinner. Their dinner special was steak and lobster. Hubby doesn't eat seafood, so I got his lobster, he got my steak, and we were both very happy. And found out there was not much open around the hotel yet. They just haven't really opened up downtown Louisville because there is the reason for downtown Louisville is convention visitors, and there really is not any conventions happening yet. I'm sure that there will be by fall. So we didn't go out and walk around downtown like that area, not the whole downtown, just the area around the hotel. It's a hotel we stay at every once in a while, a couple times a year. So anyway, since nothing was open, we just pretty much stayed in the hotel, used their services. And in the morning, with his cup of coffee, hubby went out and walked quite a few blocks around, got his walk in. Not quite up to that long of a walk yet with my knee, but he did a little bit of walking. It's very nice. I know a lot of people, they want a little getaway, they go camp, right? Go camping for the weekend. We live in the country. We live almost like we camp all the time in our old house. Not really, but you know what I mean. So for us, going the other way to an urban environment is a treat. I had broccolini. Now I've heard of it. I've never raised it in the garden or anything. It kind of looks like scrawny broccoli. It looks like it. Have you ever seen a parsley go to seed? You know, where it goes up and it kind of spreads out all these little shoots and everything. That's kind of what it looks like. And so I'd never had that before, but the way they fixed it at this fancy restaurant, I don't know. I swear they took a blowtorch to it. Really, it was like crisped. You know, I don't think you could even get it crispy like that. Well, maybe under a broiler. Maybe it could have been done that way, I guess. Of course, they have all sorts of secrets and tips and tools in these fancy kitchens, right? That I probably wouldn't have at home. I actually got hubby to try a little bit of it too, and yeah, he said okay. You live in a city, so it's nice to go places with a bunch of trees, yes, and mountains from time to time, and sleep in a tent on the hard ground. You've had broccolini. I don't know. You prefer broccoli or broccoli rabe. You know, I can't. It didn't taste like broccoli to me, but it didn't taste bad. Now, I know that had a lot to do with how it was seasoned and how it was cooked, and I'm not sure I could recreate that at home. You know, so I'm not going to go out and look for it and buy it. One of the things that is not happening this year is any kind of full season garden because of I really couldn't do any of the spring stuff, and you know, until I get more secure outside walking on the ground, that sort of thing. So our garden is going to consist of tomato plants that I'll put in here in a few weeks, and then in the fall maybe I'll start doing some of the leafy greens and some of the stuff like that, but don't have any spring garden this year for that kind of stuff. I don't grow broccoli. I always just buy it. It's not worth trying to grow it. You have to spray an incredible amount of insecticide, and I don't like to do that. I mean, humans are not the only thing that like to eat broccoli, right? There's a lot of bugs that like broccoli. So I just don't bother growing it. One of the things I was researching this morning online is where the farmer markets are going to be this year. I know they are open, and they really start getting going in the middle of June. They have things coming in. So that's one of my Saturday morning treats. Go get a Starbucks coffee and go hit the farmers markets. Since I don't garden real hard anymore. You can't blame them. That's true of almost all of the one thing I grow frequently that I'm not probably going to put out this year is a summer thing, is the yellow squash. Now, I don't mind zucchini, but zucchini I will buy because I don't want that, what a zucchini plant will put out. I don't want that much of it. But I love yellow squash. And I like the fall squashes, but they take a long time to grow and a lot of room. So sometimes it's easier just to buy them. But I love acorn squash and butternut. I love all those. You've been knitting on your shawl all day, but at 4 or so, I'll get up and do some chores, and then at 5:30, you have to teach some kids piano. Oh, you're doing your piano lessons. Yeah. Is that late like that because they're in school? It's an after-school thing for them. You spun up a little of your new fiber last night. I'll post a picture in the Discord. Okay, good. Did you spin? Did you post in Snoring Cats, or because I saw a Cordell, the gray Cordell that was just really gorgeous. Oh my goodness, that looked so pretty. Is that you? Was that you? I have a terrible memory. I apologize. Oh, that's good. That was you. Yes, that Cordell was beautiful. You can post a picture, but I have seen it. Just keep the pictures going as you try your different fibers. And your spinning is lovely. It's very, very lovely. Oh, can you see this on there? This is so gorgeous. Oh man, I love it. And I think I don't know if you heard, at the very beginning of the stream, I was saying I get to go to a real live fiber fair in a couple weeks, couple Saturdays. Well, it'd be a week from Saturday. I'm so excited, I can't stand it. It's about 2 hours from my house. Up in Indiana. The kids come home from school and then play in the park until 5:30, then piano. Okay. Yes, you'll have to try Jacob. This is soft too, by the way. It's super soft. Jacob is one that, I mean, it's considered, let me see if it's threatened or what it is here. Where's my passport? I buried it. There it is. Oop. Hitting the camera. Here, let me park this a minute. It's hard to believe, but American Jacob is considered threatened, which is the only category above that is critical. Okay, so it's surprising because it seems like I see a fair amount at fiber fairs. I see it offered, on sale on Etsy and stuff like that. But the thing I've noticed is, of course, I've spun Jacob before in the years past, and this is way softer. They're breeding more softness into the fiber. which is cool. Oh, your last name is Jacobs? That's neat. Yeah. Next thing you know, you're going to get a place in the suburbs and you're going to have Jacob sheep chomping your lawn, right? Jacobs. I can see the business card now. I just love the way this bounces back and forth between the dark gray and the white. I have to make sure I'm going the right direction. I was plying this morning. She wants a goat, but you want sheep. You can have both. Yeah. I raised milk goats for the milk. This is back in 78 because that's when my daughter was born and she was raised on goat's milk. And I had a neighbor who became my best friend, and she and I both lived, she lived on just a kind of a city lot. It was no city, it was just a place out in the country. And it was the parsonage because she was the preacher's wife. But I was on an acre and a half and I had a barn. And after we became friends and we got to talking about goats and everything, we ended up with 4 milking goats and then various and sundry young ones that we either sold for other people to raise or butchered, depending on. And we did not have a buck. And because they say, for one thing, there was limited space in the fenced area, so we didn't really want more than 4 goats. And they say that the buck's smell can taint the milk, you know, if it's around. So we didn't have a buck. So in order to get babies, in order to get milk, you got to have babies, right? In order to get babies, we had to breed the goats. In order to get them bred, we had to put them in the back of a car. We didn't have a truck. We didn't have a trailer. We had she had a Volkswagen, not the Bug, but the kind that was sort of a great big hatchback. I mean, this is back in you may not even know what I'm talking about, right? You're maybe too young to know what I'm talking about. But I have a picture somewhere around here of that car with 2 goats, 2 does in there. And we drove them to the farm and got them bred and brought them home. So it was a yearly thing, right? To go get those goats bred so we could have babies and have milk. And we had to milk twice a day. And we shared the responsibility. So I would do one. I was working in the hospital, as my job always has been. And so she would milk in the mornings and I was working second shift. It just depended on when I was working. Right, she'd cover when I was working and I'd milk when I wasn't working. So it's nice, truly, not to do that huge amount of obligation, right? You can't travel or nothing if you're milking, um, unless you have somebody that'll do it for you. And that's not an easy thing to find, right? It's a commitment if you're going to have a goat and milk. But it's also really, really cool. You know, oh my gosh, I made so much stuff with that milk. And of course, fed my daughter. My friend had two growing boys. They were 6 and 7 years older than my daughter, but they were they went through the milk more so than I did, really. I would give her milk. I didn't need it. Yeah, I know. I have had so many fun things as experiences in my life because I've always been kind of a back to the lander, hippie, gonna do it myself kind of person, and then, you know, figure out what I want to do and what I don't want to do. I want to be able to travel now. I don't want the obligation of even chickens. Um, you know, I don't want being tied down someplace by livestock. I want to be able to travel, so it's not part of my life anymore. I'll pay somebody else for it. Sounds like a piano piece that students would play. Is it Chopin? Not sure. So tell me about your piano playing, and since you teach, I'm assuming that you've been taught and all that. Mine was just growing up from about fifth, sixth grade on. I would take weekly piano lessons. My mother had the aspiration of being a pianist, and didn't pursue it, but she is the reason behind the having a piano and playing the piano and that sort of thing. And I did a lot of piano playing in high school for, any kind of. I didn't sing, right? I played for the ensembles, and I played for some of the stage stuff and that kind of thing. I was a pianist in high school for that, as well as church. So, never taught, but certainly had quite a bit of. Certainly had piano as part of my growing up life. This is later than Chopin? Okay. Oh, yeah, now it's jazzy. Well, this music isn't really a copyrightable music anyway. They're making it up, so anybody who is making up new music is going to bring in riffs from whatever's in their background, right? That's how Pretzel can get away with not paying licensing fees. Well, this is not too bad. It's not going to be quite an hour to do a bad. I talked a fair amount at the beginning, and we're just hitting the hour point here. you started piano when you were little, and then just kept on with it. You went to an arts high school where they had piano classes, and then went to college for music composition. Very nice. I remember I continued piano lessons in college. I remember the practice rooms. Those little tiny rooms with the pianos in them. I just had a piano for many, many, many years, and finally ran into a family member whose, kid was really interested in piano and really, really wanted a piano, and so I went ahead and let them have the piano. And the only reason I did is because I'm going to inherit my mom's piano, which is a really nice one, but it's in her house and I'm not going to take it until she's gone. So I have a piano that will be coming my way. I just don't have it right now. You miss them. Well, at least you knew that you weren't disturbing anybody else, right? I had a piano in apartments a number of times, and I was very cautious about when I played it. Started thinking about what you could do instead of working in an office in customer service, and remembered how when I was in high school, some of my peers were giving piano lessons, and I thought, if a high school kid can give children piano lessons, then I definitely can be qualified now. Yes, yeah, that's good. Had to walk when I was a kid. I had to walk to my piano lesson. Not far. I was in a little town. It was just down the road. That was not a poor me, I walked 10 miles thing. Lump, lump, lump. So many little lump bumps there. Your uncle helped you buy a piano and started finding students on Facebook. So when COVID hit and my part-time job laid me off, I just tried to find more students to fill in the gap. Yeah. But how did you do the digital thing? Or did you just still do it in person with masks? I know what I would have done. If hubby and I were younger and not already retired and having to deal with what would I have done about work? I would have worked because I was in a hospital. I would have worked. Hubby he's a appliance repairman, and he was self-employed, so he would have worked. And I think we kind of really are very, very lucky, because I think he would have been exposed. It would have been at much higher risk. I mean, he's a high risk, but it would have exposed him easier by going into people's houses and fixing their appliances and maybe not complying with masks and all that. So I've kind of counted as a blessing that we were retired. And it's, I feel terrible for people who their job goes away. That's not a good thing. And of course, we're on Social Security, but it's better than your job going away. Oh, okay, so you did it on Zoom. And a couple people who lived really close by, I went in person. The museum opened back up in October. They tried to have me come back, and I was like, no way. Oh, that's where you were working before. Yeah. Yeah. Depends on what the job was. And museums can space people out. What I find is true of almost all the stuff that's opening here again is that, it's limited capacity, right? And they just control the number of people. Yeah, and it was still in full swing. You are absolutely right. I mean, it really was. And there wasn't a vaccine yet. We didn't have protection yet. So, it's absolutely a good decision. Oh my gosh, yes, that's true. A subway would not have been a good place at all. Yeah. You were very lucky. And that's exactly what I was saying. We were able to avoid probably so much of what other people were going and dealing with. Not that I'm bragging or anything, I'm just very thankful. I mean, there were days I was ready to tell my husband to go find someplace else to live. Oh, goodness. You're under the same roof with the person, nonstop days and weeks and 24 hours. But that's just normal. And we did not get to be with grandson as much as we'd like, and Christmas didn't happen. I mean, there were things that did go wrong, all because of the pandemic. Teaching piano is very cushy compared to what school teachers went through. Oh, yeah, trying to keep classes going and everything. I agree. And you talk about you have control over your schedule and situation. I mean, that's what my husband felt. He was always self-employed as a repairman, and he didn't want it any other way. Ah, that's New York State. You're lucky. That's a really, really awesome state benefit. That's really awesome state benefit. It's been an hour here. I definitely need to move my knee. Oh, my leg. Oh, and I was so close to being done. That was silly. I should have finished it. I'll catch it next time. I need a break here. I need to stretch. Yes, it's 4 o'clock. A little after, actually. Yeah, you better. Because at 5:30 you're going to have to teach. But thank you for hanging around. I appreciate it. It's been good talking to you. Okay, that's fine. And I'll be back on Thursday afternoon, probably about the same time. Time flies when you're having fun. Oh, goodness. I'm not 100% happy with this chair as a spinning chair. It's a computer chair, and that's okay as a computer chair because I don't spend my day at the computer. I come and go, right? All right, bye. And so the problem is I sit and there is a space right here. I should probably try and put a little pillow back there or something. I don't know. Because there's a space there and I don't have a good supported back. If I want my back completely supported, I have to sit back like this, and I don't like to spin like this. As well as I don't like that angle on my hips. I truly sit at a complete 90 degree with my hip bone and all that. So unfortunately, that's a problem. All right, let's do another bat here. Oh my goodness, I'll be doing these for a while if I do 2 bats a stream. Of course, I'll spin. This one isn't too bad on the back. It's pretty nice, pretty neat. Nice in front. So we'll just split this one up here. And I just made myself a note to bring us a diz for the next stream. is really thick on the bottom down here. I think I'm gonna take this little extra off right there and spin that separate. Not real sure where all that came from. Don't have to cook supper tonight. I got leftovers in the fridge. That's awesome. Alright, let's do these two little ones. One's left over from the first bat. And this one was just kind of a chunky, loose thing there on the second bat. Pre-draft them a little bit, kind of organize them. Oh, that is so pretty. I just keep looking at it. It's going to be a little fuzzier than I thought, but not bad. That was one of the reasons I was trying to spin it very thin and worsted, very tightly twisted, so that it wouldn't fuzz up as much. Besides wanting a lot of yardage and hopefully able to do it with like a size 2 or 3 needle. Do some lace work. So I have plans to do the stash dash. I need to figure out what that's really called. See if I've got it here. Nope. I don't have it here. Thought maybe I wrote it down last time. Oh, it's the Knit Girls. Yep. It's called Stash Dash. Okay. My goodness, they've been doing that for a while. It went all the way back to 2011. How about that? That is called The Knit Girls. Girls, and Girls has 3 L's in it. Hello, MA. How are you? 3D printer. Welcome back. I know you've been here before. Just doing what I always do, which is spinning yarn. Okay, so this is a wool. It is from a sheep by the name of Jacob. Not the name of Jacob. The breed is called Jacob. It does make it sound like the actual sheep's name's Jacob, but that's not it. The breed is Jacob. The sheep has multicolors. All these different colors that you see, the grays and the whites and all that, are in the sheep's fleece, so that when you see the sheep, they kind of look splotched or calico or spotted or something like that. I took the wool and ran it through a great big thing that I have that's called a drum carder. It brushes it and forms it into a process that allows me to spin it. The process is called carding. So I was talking about, I am going to be starting something on Friday that's called a stash dash. It's basically keeping track of how much yardage, except they do it in kilometers, or meters and then kilometers. And it's going to run all the way through sometime in August, so it runs for a while. But it's more than just spinning. It can be knitting, and you are keeping track of the amount of yarn you use to knit something. And what I was going to talk about is it's very easy for people who go to the store and buy their yarn to know how much yardage, and I'm going to be using the word yardage because I am not metric. My brain is, just, it has to stop and say the right words if I change out of non-metric. But anyway, it's on the yarn ball band, and they just know if they use all of it, they've used that many meters, and if they use and they also have a weight on their ball band, right? And so they know if they weigh it and half of it is gone, they've used half of it. It's very easy for people who are purchasing that and have that information given to them. When you spin your yarn, you can know yardage, but what the missing ingredient to what they have and what I won't have is, the weight to yardage ratio. If they have 50 grams and they have 400 meters of yarn, and then they weigh it and they have 25 grams left, they know they've used 200 meters, right? That's what I don't have and have to figure out a way to do. Now there's a special thing that you can get called a McMorran balance that will help you do that. But I have been thinking about, I'm knitting. I have 2 projects going with hand knit yarn, and one of them, it's going to be real easy to measure what I knit in one row, because basically I'm making a rectangle, right? And so I can just measure out a yard, a next yard, or whatever. I can measure it and then knit it, and I'll know, and I'll just start keeping track of the rows and that'll, after I know how many yards are in a row. That's going to be easy. But when you're making something that's shaped and you don't know, one row will use so much yarn, another one will use other yarn, then you have to go with the weight yardage ratio. And that involves scanning out, or reeling off your yarn onto a scale, and I'm using a kitchen scale, until I get a certain amount. And I try to go for something that's somewhat easy to calculate, so like a 1/4 ounce, right? Or something like that. And then measure how many yards that 1/4 ounce is. Once I know that, then I have my weight yardage ratio, and I have to keep track of how much weight I use. And then I can figure out how many yards I use. It's a little more complicated than using commercial yarn. I have very seldom made it a point to do anything more than know how many yards of yarn I have. And for this stash dash, where you're trying to use up what's in your stash and they want to know how much you've used up in meters, I'll have to do some, oh my gosh, I'll have to do some math. I have done it for so many years. Spinning has been in my life for so many years that I've pretty much hit every problem. I've pretty much handled almost every kind of fiber that you can spin at least once. And, it just is a matter of practice. It really is. This I am spinning as thin as I can spin it so that I can knit lace weight. Something that's lacy, in other words. Not knit with a lace weight. I won't make something that has some lace pattern to it. Don't know what that'll be, but I do have the concept. And really that's what you need before you spin yarn. Kind of a general idea what the final goal is for use of the yarn. You can always just make a generic DK if you don't have any specific ideas. But this one here, I was like, I just really want something lacy out of this. No different than, I spin every day, so it's no different than knowing a sport, being good at that, or any other skill. Painting, jewelry making. Practice makes perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect yarn. I just said that, but there is no such thing as a perfect yarn. Yarn is organic because it comes from organic source. Wool or plants right? had a very lovely morning. For about an hour, I sat on my porch. It was very nice and morning cool. It had the heat of the day hadn't come in yet, and I worked with another wool from another breed of sheep called Caracal. It was a lovely cinnamon brown color, and I'm doing the same thing that I did with this. I'm getting it ready to spin. It's already washed and everything. Now it's needing opened up so that I can drum card it. I was doing that on my porch. Oh, it was so pleasant this morning. It's nice to have summer here. I get cabin fever in the wintertime. Can't go outside. Don't go outside. I could go outside, I just don't. No, this is from New Zealand. The company's name is Magicraft. And I bought the spinning wheel probably 8 or 9 years ago. I am not a woodworker. Woodworkers can make the spinning wheels, and of course this company has the woodworkers that makes the spinning wheels. That is not my strong point at all. That's fine. I don't mind at all. I knew you were not from the U.S. I forget. I think you told me once before where you were from. I live in the Midwest, what's called the Midwest. I live in country. I don't live in a big city. Worked, I'm retired now, but I worked at a urban area near where I live that is fairly good size, but I didn't live there. I don't fly a flag. Um, can, if I wanted to. There is a tradition of having the flag lit up, and I really don't want to mess with that. There's a tradition of taking it down every night. Let me say that differently. If you leave it up overnight, you light it. That's the tradition. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to take it down every night. People tend to, in this area, people tend to fly the flag somewhat around our Independence Day, which is July 4th. It's more of a patriotic decoration. Businesses often fly the flag. Government buildings always do. Are gated communities normal? No. Um, it depends on the area of the United States that you're in. Um, there are more gated communities in areas where older people live, and so that they feel secure. And but you know, I can't give you any kind of idea. Around me, and even the city that, like I said, I work near, there are no, very, very few gated communities. The thing about the United States, of course, is that it is huge. I mean, it's huge. And if you're in a European country, you can go and be in a different country in a matter of hours, depending on where you live. And we, unless you live on the Canadian border or Mexico border, or can take off in a boat, you can't go to another country quickly at all. It's all United States. We are just massive. So I say that for two reasons. I can't speak for anything other than what's right around me. And my only reason I say about the older people is because I am familiar with where my mother lives, and she is older, So I can only speak with what I'm familiar with. Are grocery stores really that big in the USA? Yes. It's obsessed. It's to the point that I don't like big grocery stores. However, I adore the fact that I can get just about anything I want, any season I want, whenever, depending on whether I'm willing to pay for it. We are blessed with supply. But it is true, they are massive, and they are not just groceries, right? They are superstores where you have everything in it. And they are names like Walmart and that sort of thing. Yes, you just wrote it there. Yeah. Even grocery stores that are not Walmarts, and the store I shop at, its name is Kroger. I mean, it's a chain, and it's all over the U.S. It's all over the eastern part of the U.S. And it's just groceries, but it's big. Oh, yeah. It depends on what you consider a lot. It's not constant. I might get 4 a day. And what has happened is, everybody used to have what's called a landline. And now everybody has cell phones. And the cell phones have been better at blocking the calls than the landlines were. So they're still trying to call through on the landlines, and we might get 4 a day. And a lot of times there's not even anybody there. It's almost like they're doing one of two things. They're a robo-computer trying to figure out if the phone number is actually a number where it gets answered, right? It's an active number. Those robocalls then, of course, are put on a list, and that list is sold for money, where the people are trying to do the scams. And let me use the actual word scam, okay? Because I don't get I don't get a lot of scam phone calls where they're actually trying to get information out of me that they can, like my credit card or whatever, that they can use. I get information credit card or information calls, or maybe sales calls. You know, we got a special deal going on. We can come do your roof for such and such and such. That kind of thing. Those aren't scam calls. They're information calls. So if you really divide it that way, I don't get many scam calls. But that might depend on the area you're in too. You get like 2 or 3, robocalls. You get like 2 or 3 years. Amazing. So yes, we get a lot compared to you then. My husband likes to talk and lead them on. It drives me crazy. I just get so like, why do you take the time to do that? Are you that bored? But a lot of times, the robocall, there's nobody there. They're just looking to see if your phone number works. And the only reason we're getting them is because we still have a landline. We don't really get them on our cell phones, and what we get on our cell phone are, texts that might be kind of a spam thing. But even that, not too much. How are you, Kay? Good to see you. You do that too? Well, you don't get a chance to do it very often. I guess that's what it is. He thinks it's fun. He thinks it's funny. And, it is sad in a way because older people do get caught in those spam calls. They get, scammed because they can't tell that it's not real. And it is tragic when it happens. It's very tragic. It's like Christmas when they call. Well, the standard joke here is they call at dinner time. And that's probably universal. But, the phone will inevitably ring around anytime between 5 and 8 p.m. You're sleepy? Oh. A good nap day, then. That's alright. Nap days are good. When I worked, I used to be able to, on my days off, take a nap. I'm not a napper anymore. I don't think I get tired enough at home that I need a nap. See my Jacob? Kay? Jacob bats that I made. That's what I'm spinning. So cool. It's turning out so pretty. And yeah, you pretty much missed. I'll probably be getting off in about 15 minutes. I've been on almost 2 hours. I was just going to finish up this last bat. But I'll be back Thursday at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Around the same time. Is it normal to eat McDonald's a lot in the USA? I don't know. It depends who you are. It's not normal for me. My grandson can eat 20 of their chicken nuggets at one sitting. He likes those. I took him to McDonald's one time when he was with me, and he said, I want 20 chicken nuggets. I said, oh, you can't eat that. Oh, yes, I can. And he says, I want the meal. So I have a small drink, and it comes with a cookie, okay, and fries. I said, okay, you know. Well, he did. He ate all of it. He has a good appetite, and, you know, he chomping away, and then he looks at me and he said, Grandma, I suppose I ought to share some of this with you, don't you think? I said, well, if you want to. I had I forget what I had. I had food, but you're staring at your own Jacob, but I'll drop spindle. I don't know if you're saying you're staring at it or starting it, but you'll drop spindle it. But I'll drop spindle myself in the face if I don't sit differently to do it. Oh, you're having trouble finding a way to spin it? When you did you combine the colors like I did? See, I've done Jacob before, and I separated the colors out, and I made a self-striping yarn, and I knit a hat with it that's self-striped. You know, it was really cool, but I didn't want to bother with it this time. I just went ahead and made this, blended this all together, and I'm working on trying, hopefully, to get a thin enough yarn that I can do lace weight knitting, get a lace pattern. Ooh, that looks nasty. What did I get there? AMA, you're more than welcome. I'm glad you stopped by again. It's always nice chatting with you. And I appreciate you for telling me that I'm good at what I do, because I really appreciate the compliment. Thank you very much. Tiny ones are not to be underestimated. Okay, so did it fly up in the face? Is that what you're saying? Your drop spindle? Anyway. Well, I hope you don't. I have over 10 ounces here. Hopefully you don't have pounds and pounds to spin. That could take a while. Oh, yours came combined, but I think next time I'd like to try some that's separated. Oh, okay. AMA says, thanks, you are so nice. Yeah, if you want it separated, you pretty much have to. I bought this unwashed and washed it. You know, you pretty much have to process it from the beginning to get it and separate the colors. This does have a lot of shortcuts in it, unfortunately. I've been trying to not get them in there. See you later. Stop by again, AMA. Have a good week. Oh, you've only got 4 ounces and you're on the second single. Oh, well, that's great. It was fun drum carting this. It really was. It liked the drum carter. You know, just made up. The bats just look so pretty after you make them up. Of course, I have been spinning endless amount of white lately. I think I was just kind of starved for a pretty natural colored dark fleece. I found out today that in a couple weeks, on a Friday, so it'd be I don't know if it's a week or 2 weeks from this coming Friday, I get to go to a fiber fair, a real live in-person fiber fair. I'm excited. Hey, Snoring Cat. Did you just hear me? I get to go to a fiber fair in a couple weeks. In person or live. I'm so excited. I am spinning Jacob that I drum carded after, of course, washing it and picking it and all that good stuff. Here's the bats. I have 12 of these bats. I've spun 2 on this bobbin right here, and I'm going for as thin as I can. And it's just, oh, these are just so awesome. They really are. Snoring Cat, it's good to see you. I have finally been sleeping, so I have missed your stream, unfortunately. But it was so nice when I was having those terrible insomnia to have you there to keep me company. But thank goodness I am starting to sleep now. I was getting pretty worn out. Oh, you had one near you past Saturday. You were at work, but I don't know if you'd gone. Yeah, I'm not ready for that many people. I don't believe there's going to be a lot of people, and I feel that it's controllable. I can go in a booth or not, and they are requiring masks in the building. There are some vendors who are outside. They mostly sell the fleeces and stuff, but yeah, it's perfectly, I don't see it any different than going to the grocery store. Because, you know, you go to the grocery store and they tell everybody to social distance, and you look down an aisle and it's packed. Well, I just don't go down that aisle until it's not packed, right? It's something I can control. It's alright. I have to go smell the sheep. There has been a great lack of sheep fleece fumes in my life. It seems like everybody has been unusually sleepy lately. I was wondering if it's lingering. Oh, immunization effects. Well, could be. I'm not quite 2 weeks. Thursday will be 2 weeks when I got it. And I got the Johnson & Johnson. I'm only going to get the 1 dose. But yeah, well, masks are hit and miss around here too. I mean, I agree, but I choose to wear it if I'm inside still. Gotta smell the sheep. Well, I agree with the immune system being revved up, and the fact that, okay, we may get other immunizations more frequently, and I'm using the flu shot as an example, right? And it's kind of routine, and this is a new strain of everything, and the immune system is like, what is that? Let me overreact here a little. Yeah, I'm sure there's some involved in that. I gave my daughter her pre-wound warp on Sunday at her party. She was just like, "Oh, this is amazing." I don't think she'd ever seen one. So that was the best gift I think I could have gotten. I love it when I find something like that, right? When it's just like the most perfect gift ever. She supposedly is completely done with school. I don't believe her. I think she'll end up going back eventually, because I think she's a perpetual student, but at least she works while she's in school, so that's a good thing. That's right. Something that was a total surprise. It's really, I have a small tabletop loom. I'm not going to spin anymore. I've been spinning for 2 hours, so I'm going to stop, but I won't. Let's talk a little. I have a small tabletop loom that I really haven't done much with, and it's treadled. Okay, it's hooked up to treadles, two, right? So it's going to be really basic and not that wide. And so I'm looking at that. I'm thinking, after I saw that warp, I'm thinking, oh man, I just really want to try this. I want to try it. I'll probably be buying one for myself at some point. So how's it with you? Since I haven't had a chance to say hello for a while. Are you having lovely weather? We are having a lot of heat, but in the mornings it's just like, it's been dry and gorgeous, and it's really been wonderful. I sat on my porch for an hour and a half this morning working with a caracal fleece that, oh my gosh, that's going to be really fun too. It's kind of a cinnamon brown color with the tans and everything. Beautiful. I got a lot of really nice fiber for the passport stuff. I got a few that were probably never going to be good. So, it kind of depended, but most of them have been really nice. See, we don't have the humidity yet. It isn't going to rain, and it hasn't. We don't have the humidity yet. We've been sitting on high pressure, or high pressure's been sitting on us, I should say. It's all right. That'll all end soon, I'm sure. We will get for real summer. This was what was left in the bag after I did the last full bat, and it's kind of like a half bat here. So maybe I just work on this a little bit. It's not it's not carded as well as the full bats. I think hubby just came in to find out if I was done streaming. He knows I usually quit around now. I remember one comment you made about your house was they knew how to ventilate a house good, and that's true of a lot of older homes, isn't it? Because they didn't have it any other way. They had to have the ventilation. You got skirtings from a friend who has merinos and Finn Lincoln cross. She's been crossing the merino ewes with the Finn Lincoln Rams, and is getting gorgeous fleeces. Oh, I bet. You helped her skirt 3 of those that she's taking to Worcester. Oh, I know Worcester. You forget the name of the festival. Is it in the fall? No. Worcester is not the Young Jersey, or one that is at the Jersey Dairy Farm. I'm the weirdo in your guild that takes everybody's skirting and combing waste. So you're combing some of it right now, and oh my God, I bet it is. It might be this weekend. Okay, so it's not one I'm familiar with. There is one that is outside of Dayton, Ohio, in the fall. It's always September, and I figured I'd go to that one this year too, but it's big. It's a big one. And it's at a Jersey Dairy Farm. That's my stomping grounds. I mean, I'm from north of there, more the Columbus area. But that's pretty close to where I grew up. Oh, that, I know. It's wonderful. When you can comb it, you don't have anything in there, and you get beautiful yarn. I am going to do a quick Google here. Oh, road trip. You and I will go hit them all. We'll get a great big van, and we'll just hit them all. Let's see here. Fiber Fair Worcester. And then there's Ren Fairs. Oh, Great Lakes Fiber Show. And let's see here. I think. Well, tell me where it is. Wayne County Fairgrounds, Worcester, Ohio. That's it. So, yes, it's Memorial Day weekend, May 29th 30th. Oh, that is one I have never been to, I don't think. They are requiring masks. I don't think I'm prepared to drive quite that far. I'm still limiting myself how much I drive, you know. I just don't really drive a whole bunch. Yeah, it is this weekend. All right. It sounds like a plan. Well, you might have to have your honey bunny retire, and my hubby would definitely want to go because he's not ever going to let me go on a road trip without him. I mean, you know, what fun is that? I don't know. There's plenty in this side of the Mississippi. You know, there's SAF. There's a lot up in the eastern seaboard. I have been wanting to go to Maryland Sheep and Wool forever. So, you know, I really don't think I'll go beyond much further west than that. The problem is I buy things and then I gotta do all this stuff. And I'm trying to get rid of having to do all this stuff. If I could just be, you know, project oriented and buy for one project at a time, but they don't have a fiber fair around the corner, you know, like you can run to Walmart, right? Gotta buy it while the getting's good. Some of your friends prefer Worcester over Maryland. Oh, because Maryland is really big. And, you know, there's one in... I know you're from Michigan. There's one in Allegan. I've been to the one in Allegan years and years and years ago. I don't know if they still have it or not. Did you ever go to that one? And yours doesn't want to go. His attention span's too short in regard to all that stuff. Right. You don't want to go beyond west of Mississippi either. Waynesburg, Pennsylvania is about 2 hours from here. Maryland is about 4 hours. Okay. Oh, and he doesn't like crowds? Yeah. Hubby is a... See, when I vended, he was in heaven because we'd be at the booth. I'd be taking care of the customers, and he'd wander around talking to people. He's a people person, and he just loved it. He was so sad when I stopped vending, and I'm like, I'm doing all the work. I can't do the work anymore. I'm working full time. So he'd be happy if we went back to that vending. Maybe that's what I need to do. At least for a couple years again. It's so much more fun when you don't have that responsibility and have to have inventory and that whole 9 yards. You've never been to Allegan. Okay. There was another event to it you went every year that was the same weekend. But I'd love to go now. Well, once you retire. Not require. Retire. Yeah, I know. Jinx. Yeah, I could do it again. But who wants the work? See, I had the Angora rabbits, right? I was selling sometimes I had rabbits to sell, sometimes I was selling, besides that, I had always had the fiber. I had yarn I spun, and, you know, I wasn't into the wool as much as I was the Angora when I was vending. It's more of a niche thing. I didn't have quite the competition by all the other vendors. There were a couple other people had Angora rabbits, but it was nice to have that little niche market. But raising the rabbits is a huge amount of work. We can't keep up with what we got to do now. Can't add more. I know. You've been planning to raise Angora again, but my health has been uncooperative the last couple of years, and I don't know if I'm ever going to be up to again. Well, what you can do is get one house bunny, and house is a loose term. I mean, it's caged or crated or whatever, and out while it's monitorable. But they make great house pets. Actually, it's not something you would do in order to have a whole bunch of fiber to vend. Just get a French get a English or a giant if you want the most fiber for one rabbit. And, I most certainly could do that, except I've always had a cat. And the cat is kind of a issue. You got to be aware that there may be problems. And you're not going to be breeding if you don't have the two, so... You like the English the best? Oh, you had a house bunny. Okay. Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know that they got along. I just wasn't real sure, because I've always had cats and I've never really had... The rabbits were in the barn, right? Because I had up to 30 of them, so they were never in the house. I have an Angora story to tell you, and it's this kind of stuff. I'm so glad you stopped by when I'm talking, because I could never tell you this through chat, typing it on yours, right? So I had all these rabbits, and I was breeding them, and they would always have litters, and I had to go. Hubby and I had to go away, and my daughter was taking care of the rabbits. All right, she was here at the house and she was taking care of the rabbits, and she went out to the barn, and one of the does had made a nest and had a litter, and one of the babies was out of the nest on the wire in the bottom of the cage. And of course, her first thought was, oh, it's dead, right? And she picked it up, and it kind of moved a little bit, and she's like, oh, it's alive, it's alive. And she stuffs it into her t-shirt next to her skin, and she brings it in the house. And, she kept that baby alive and called me, and what do I do with it? And I said, well, if you get it so that it looks like it's really alert and everything, put it back in the nest. Mama will take care of it. They don't boot them out like you hear about birds or whatever. So she did. And the mom raised the baby. We kept that rabbit. It turned out it was a doe. And I named the rabbit Reboot. Because he got rebooted. I had lots of stories and fun things about the rabbits, but that one I will always remember with my daughter, because she brought that rabbit back to life, or at least warmed it up enough that it's like, okay, I'll stick around. You say, when you bought the house, a friend needed someone to take a couple of elderly Angoras because she was moving, so I rescued them. After they were gone, I wanted to get breeding stock and breed for color, but specifically a mind to color genetics. I had a whole bunch of study of the genetics. I really got into it too, because I'm a science person, right? And I really did get into the genetics of it. never did get the colors I said specifically I thought I would, but I had a good idea why I was getting the colors I was getting, and it was helpful to know which doe and buck to put together or not put together. And so Reboot was, yeah, excellent name. Reboot the rabbit. Oh, you thought it was going to be a sad story. I know, so did she. I paid her back years and years later. She was raising hedgehogs, and it was winter time, and her place where she was staying was not warm enough, and the hedgehogs started hibernating, right? They just were bundles of hibernation. So she brought them out to my house, and we put them in one room where we could close the door, and it was super warm, so that they didn't have to hibernate their winter away until it got warm back again in her house. Nerds unite. You're coming out of before your lessons. Yeah, I know. I'm streaming. I'm streaming late because I wanted to talk. But I know it's about time for you to teach piano. I really do need to get going on something else, and I need to move. I haven't moved enough. So I am probably gonna say goodbye, as much as I hate to. But that's alright. Come back again. You all come back again soon. I would never have said you all 20 years ago. That's just living here in Kentucky. So, thanks for everybody stopping by, and I hope that you have a good rest of the evening. Enjoy some sunshine if you can take it. Stay in the shade if you can't. And be well and happy spinning. See you later. Bye.